Hello, fifth grade friends. Today we're going to be reading How This Little Goldfish Can Cause Big Trouble from our Scholastic News magazine. Marcus Roston still can't believe it. In 2017, he pulled a goldfish the size of a small dog from the Niagara River in New York. When Roston tweeted the shocking photo last year, newspapers and websites as far as Japan reported on it. But it wasn't the first time a monster goldfish had been caught in the US. Goldfish living in a bowl in your family room are harmless. The goldfish in the US waterways are an invasive species, an animal or plant that moves into an area and harms native species. From pet to pests. Goldfish are a type of carp that is native to Asia. They were first brought to the US more than 200 years ago. By 1900, goldfish were being given away as carnival prizes. Today, they are as common in the US homes as cats or dogs. But what happens when people decide they no longer want their goldfish? Often, they think the most humane way to part with the pet fish is to release it into a pond or stream. But those well-meaning owners might actually be creating a gigantic problem. Besides being illegal to release goldfish into the wild, it's irresponsible, says Sarah Muscoff, an aquatic biologist with the U.S. Forest Service. She studied invasive goldfish in Lake Tahoe on the border of California and Nevada. A struggle to survive. Goldfish swimming in a fishbowl eat only a few flakes or pellets of food each day. But fish released into rivers and lakes have access to an almost unlimited supply of plants, insects, and smaller fish to eat. With no natural predators to keep them in check, these eating machines can grow to be more than a foot long. They also multiply quickly. Female goldfish can lay up to 40,000 eggs per year. All those unwelcome goldfish end up competing with native fish for food. Because invasive goldfish are larger and more plentiful, they'll usually win, says Muscoff. The way goldfish search for their next meal can also be harmful. They are bottom feeders, meaning they find food along the floor of a body of water. That stirs up sand and mud, making the water murky. Native fish struggle to survive in these conditions, and the entire ecosystem is infected. What can you do? Goldfish have been spotted in ponds, rivers, and lakes from Alaska to Florida. Often there are so many in a body of water that it's impossible to get rid of them all. The best thing people can do, Muscoff explains, is to stop dumping their pet fish where they don't belong. People who no longer want their goldfish should bring them to a pet store or an aquarium. After all, a photo of a giant goldfish might make a great viral tweet, but is it worth it? Most unwanted guests. An estimated 4,300 invasive species live throughout the U.S. Here are three of the biggest pests. The emerald ash borer. The invasion. These half-inch long beetles arrived in Asia in 2002, probably in packing materials on cargo ships. They've since killed tens of millions of ash trees in 35 states by boring or digging under the bark. Damage control. Experts have cut down tens of thousands of infected trees to try to stop these pests from spreading to other trees. Also, in some areas, the U.S. government has released a type of wasp that is a natural predator to the beetle, but harmless to humans. The Burmese python. The invasion. In the 1970s, these giant snakes were imported from Asia to be sold as pets. But many owners eventually set the snakes free, and now up to 100,000 may be living in the Florida Everglades. They feast on native animals like rabbits and deer. Damage control. Wildlife officials capture and kill hundreds of pythons each year. In January, officials held the Python Bowl, giving cash and other prizes to the teams that caught the most snakes. The nutria. The invasion. Starting in the late 1800s, traders brought these 20-pound rodents from South America to sell for their fur. But once nutria escaped or were released, they started eating enough vegetation to disrupt entire ecosystems. They've been spotted in about 20 states. Damage control. Some states, like Delaware, seem to have completely gotten rid of the rodents. Others are still trying. In Louisiana, people can earn $6 for each nutria they catch. And then there is a video that goes with our article today. Today, for your ERQ, on a separate sheet of paper, you need to explain why goldfish are considered invasive species. Explain why goldfish are considered invasive species. Make sure you put a DWB. I know when I was just reading that, I saw at least 2 to 3 ways. So I should see at least 4, if not more, sentences for this ERQ today. Have a great day, 5th grade.